Jimmy Toscano.
Always.
Oh, yeah. What's going on, guys? Emergency garden report. We had to get everybody together because we have some news.
Kind of emergency.
The worst kind of emergency garden
This
report.
is like
we'll
that.
Get
like,
into it. Jimmy Toscano.
Like the nuclear alarm emergency that you hear. That's like you don't want to hear that sound.
I know. It's like, but in this case, the nuclear alarm sounded, and I was like, do I do anything? And I was like, nope, I'm just gonna stay here and let whatever happens. It was just depression and acceptance. I'm like, ugh.
A lot of people don't know
we'll
that
get into that in a second. Jimmy
easier.
Toscano, Bobby Manning, Josue Pavone. The podcast is brought to you by Athletic Greens, your one-stop shopping for 75 high-quality vitamins to help you start your day right. And of course, we can't not mention Calm, the #1 mental wellness app, to give you the tools that improve the way you feel. And you know what? I don't feel very good right now, guys.
You know what? I was just gonna say, let's remember Calm.com tonight.
Rob could have used some.
Calm.com is with us.
That up since the news.
Rob could have used some AG1, some Athletic Greens here to get healthy this off season. Good for recovery and good for everything. So I'll go once around the horn. I guess just, give me the disaster before we get into a lot of things, which is the timing, the long-term ramifications, the potential long-term, the short-term. Just give me your disaster grade here. Let's go on a scale of 1 to 10. What's the disaster level here, Josue? And again, for those not fully understanding it all, or who's just kind of coming into what's happening, the panic meter, where is it pinned?
Oh, we need the panic meter. Do we have that?
Williams' arthroscopic procedure on his left knee, expected to need 4 to 6 weeks to recover. Expected. We will see. What do you guys think?
I'm going 6. I'll go 6. And I know I'm leaning towards 6 just because it's something that it's something he's been through before. You're kind of hoping that this would be, they brought him back a little, soon for the postseason. You're hoping that during the offseason that he would rest up, be ready to go. This is the last thing you wanted to hear. Bobby and I, we talked about it Sunday, going into the season. This team is a different team without a healthy Rob Williams. So we want to see what that looks like for an entire season. And obviously this isn't the way you wanted to things to start off, but big picture wise, when the games really do matter, when we're talking about December or so, let's see what he looks like. The reason why my meter's at a 6 right now is because you don't want this thing to be a lingering injury. You don't want this thing to be a continued concern for this Celtics team. Because I'll tell you this much, for people who are considering the Celtics #1 coming out of the East, this upcoming season, I don't know if that's the case without a healthy Robert Williams. I'm pretty much going to say it's not. If he's not relatively healthy throughout the course of the 82 games, that doesn't look like it's going to be a realistic possibility now. But moving into the season, though, you hope by December or so he's good to go. Hopefully this thing doesn't linger.
Bobby,
I'm coming in a little higher. We knew when he had surgery on this left knee in March.
What's your number?
7, a little higher. So The time span here looks fine. If it's 4 to 6 weeks, 4 weeks is the preseason training camp. 2 weeks into the regular season is 6 games. So if he's backing himself after that, or 10, 15 games into the season, I don't think you lose a ton here. But I'm going over a 5 because of the fact that we'll see. I'm told this is in response to a small tear in his left knee. What's that mean? What's that related to? I'm still not 100% sure. But it does seem like this is related to the surgery that was in March, which we knew had some long-term implications to it. This was the surgery that was going to get him back on the court quicker and have more potential for things to go wrong in the long term. Now, Rob had been back on the floor, to go back to your timing point, John, over the last couple of weeks here, in the gym. We've seen all the different pictures of him. So it seems like this is something that popped up within the last week or two here. And what's going to be the result of this? How's this next surgery going to go? This surgery hasn't even happened yet. So I'm concerned.
Yep. Jimmy?
This is an 8.5 for me. 10 is like Tatum. So, this is very close. First things first. This was the weakest.
You would do like a 0.2 or something like that. I know you'd go to the point rep.
Well, you guys gave rookie scores, so I had to go with the decimal, obviously, because that I want to be more precise. So 8.5. this is the thinnest position for the Celtics going into the season, and we all knew that, and we all said, well, if Rob isn't healthy, they're in big trouble. Well, guess what? We're not even close to the start of the season that he's not healthy. This isn't the first in lower body injury over his career. I think we can say at this point that I don't want to say don't label on him, but it's getting pretty close. It's getting pretty close. I think a lot of people already have tossed it on him. Also, the 4 to 6 week timeline, man, that could easily be 6 to 8, could be 8 to 10. They're not going to rush him back in the regular season. The only reason they rushed him back before because they thought having him on the court for the playoffs would be the difference. It almost was, but we know that he wasn't himself out there for the majority of the time when he came back. The other thing is this. Let's say he's back in 4 to 6. He hasn't been with the team over that time. He hasn't been working out. He's not going to be able to work out the same way since it's a lower body. And I'm at, where the rest of the team is at. So, yeah, 8.5 is high. I think it's fair. When you look at we're going to start seeing, are we going to see, Grant's going to be starting now. Luke Cornett's going to have to get some serious minutes. Who's the other? Everyone's tossing their name up. They're like, oh, it's going to be fine. Like this summer league guy played well in the summer league. Come on. I'm scouring this free agents. I know Boogie Cousins is out there. That's a name that you're going to be hearing a lot about. I know Dwight Howard's out there. And these guys, I know that they come with their warts. They're on the other side of their all-star careers at this point. But these are the guys who are available. And at some point, you're going to need guys to play minutes. And I think the Celtics are going to have to consider bringing in some help outside of the current roster. But yeah, am I concerned? Yeah, I'm freaking concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go there. I would have gone around, I don't want to be I've got a top Jimmy, but I'm in the 8 or 9 range too, in the sense of but I'm looking at it a different way. And I'm not being alarmist. It's fair to say injury prone because it's not injury prone as much as it is. Some people's bodies just aren't kind of made for this thing. They can't handle the wear and tear, and Rob's is obviously one of them. His difficult time with it. My concern here is twofold. 3, actually. 1, not again. Here we go again. And who knows what happens. And I don't think it's necessarily they messed up the surgery or he came back too fast. Those will be lazy narratives that everybody uses. But what freaks me out a little bit is that, I don't think he did
anything. We expected.
Whatever it is, it's a complication or not. We've seen what happened to Lonzo. This isn't necessarily the Celtics screwed it up. They did bad surgery. They brought him back too early. They ruined him. I don't think that that's necessarily the case, but this stuff has a way of snowballing and going in the wrong direction. And so where were you when Robert Williams' career officially, started going in this direction instead of this direction, which is where it should be going? It could be here. And that's the fear. The fear is that before he has a chance to fully take off and reach his full potential and have that fully healthy year and all of that stuff, there's another setback. And here we go again, and you'd never know which the best version of Rob doesn't return at some point following one of these procedures or trims or cleanups or whatever. That's lights out. It's ball game. Yeah, what makes him special is the fact that he's a freak athlete in addition to kind of all of the other stuff he has and really great hands and timing and X, Y, and Z. But without that, he's just a guy. And without that, the Celtics, there's no ceiling raiser on the Celtics. And that's it. They are who they are. Are they terrible? No, but he's the difference. He's the ceiling raiser. He takes a team that's in the pack and he puts them into title contender land. And without him, they're screwed. And it's not just the beginning of the season or parts of the season. My fear is that if it goes away forever at some point, where are you now in as far as this year goes and in the future, if Rob isn't going to continue to be at least the best version of himself we've seen, if not the guy we expect to kind of take off. So that's my concern. I don't give a crap. But the narratives behind who, and not to go against what you said, Jimmy, it's real. You need bodies. Absolutely. You're going to scour the waiver wire, but that's the least of my concern. I'm surprised there's that much chatter about it on Twitter right now.
Yeah, it's silly. And honestly, I don't think
who are they going to get to fill the hole? If a guy got hurt,
that's how thin you are at that position, though. That's why
But I mean, if a guy got hurt in December, if a guy got hurt in December or January and he was going to be out 2 weeks, which is essentially what he'll be out, are you running to replace them? No, you're just dealing with an injury for 2 weeks. Like when Marcus goes out, they're not like, whoa, what point guards are available on the waiver wire here? You just live with it. You go short, you do the best you can.
And that's why I'm not going.
So I don't give a crap about who they bring in. Is Rob going to be Rob? And the other part of it was that, and guys, how many times did I text you on the thread? Is somebody at some point this offseason going to give me a Rob update? You didn't see him any lighten up guys in a YMCA sort of videos. You didn't see any workout stuff.
No, he wasn't playing anything. That's the thing.
Because he did nothing, and that's fine if that's what was prescribed. But my fear is
because John, you would have lost if he was in one of those pro-ams.
No, but he needed an offseason, not just of rest. He needs that offseason to get himself into fantastic shape, because he came in last year and he sucked. He was in horrible shape. He was winded. He couldn't get up and down the court. He couldn't jump. And it took him like 3, 4, 5 weeks till he started to look anything close to himself. So now you're starting at zero again, instead of being able to take a leap in terms of working on did he work on his jump shot and his post moves this offseason? That didn't happen either, because he couldn't. So nothing can improve. And you're hoping at best he gets back to baseline, and you can't move forward with him. And that's what's killing me. It's so frustrating.
Well, I mentioned that.
No, I was going to say, this is why a lot of Celtics fans, they wanted to see the Celtics pick up a backup center before this news dropped. People were saying to themselves, look, there's not enough there in the front court to support nursing Robert through this, seeing Al Horford not playing on the second night of back-to-back, which is something that's already been reported. So they're already super thin at that position. And then we talk about what Grant Williams' value is going to be. I mean, we don't know. We don't know which Grant Williams is going to show up through the course of an 82-game season. We hope that he makes an improvement. But again, this is the reason why Celtics fans were asking for this beforehand. Now, even more so, they want to see the Celtics go and grab a third-string center who can, sort of just play that role for the next 2-3 months before Rob is back to being who he was and what this team was defensively. Like, that's what I want to see. I want to see what this team could do on the defensive side. Can they return to being that defensive juggernaut, playing historic level defense that we haven't seen from this franchise in almost a decade? Like that's the team that we're wondering if we're ever going to see that again. Because without a healthy Robert Williams, this defense doesn't reach that level. It just doesn't.
Well, they're gonna have a chance to figure out what they have right now, which is the key. You have Fournette. They're excited about him.
Bobby, you got to take a timeout, Bobby. Wait, we got to bench you. Yeah, the mic's not working right now. Sorry,
Bobby. 4 to 6 weeks, bro.
Sorry.
See ya. Get that
4 to 6 weeks for Bobby here. Yeah.
What Bobby was about to say is they're going to get a chance to see what they have in everybody else. We already know what they have. I mean, to be honest, I don't really need to see any more of these guys to know what they have. It's primarily the same team. Yeah, you got Brogdon. Okay. We know what Cornette is at this point. We know what Al. Al. I mean, listen, Al had an unbelievable
Bobby was
season.
Definitely going to bring up Cornette at some point.
Yeah, Al had an unbelievable season. I hope that he can, put together the same type of season he had this season. But he's getting up there. He's getting older, and you can't ask him to do much more than he's already been doing. And John, that's the only reason why I brought up, looking at the free agency, because based on what they're saying, Rob's going to be back in roughly 2 weeks in the regular season. If you actually believe that he's coming back, not in the off season, not with the team preseason, not going into the season. He's going to, the first on the court, they're going to give him limited minutes for a long time. They're going to test the knee. And Rob, to be completely honest, to me, exactly been somebody who seems to really push himself to get back out there. I know that he did come back in the playoffs last year. But prior to that, I mean, we were like, wow, this guy, like, his goal is to play 50 games or whatever he said in that interview.
I think he said 60.
Year. Yeah, 60 games. It's like, okay, dude, shoot for the moon there. 60 games is probably already out of the question this season. So you're getting a guy who, if you're lucky, plays 50 games a season. Why didn't the front office put a little bit more time into shoring up that 5 spot? I mean, they had to know. If they told Rob, hey, Rob, we know where you're at with the knee, just rest all offseason. They had to know that this was a to come back, at full strength. They had to know something. So why didn't they do a little bit more to get some real quality, backup?
Well, so that's what I don't know. And yeah. that's where it's not fair to speculate, but I don't give a crap. We're going to do it anyway. Like,
sure.
What is the and the narrative being peddled is, oh, well, he just tried to, he rested, he tried to ramp it up a little bit and
well, that's bad news. You barely can do anything. Yeah, you barely did anything.
Which means it's like you're back to Kemba here, where like Kemba had the whole bubble, the whole pandemic to get right, and then he plays for 2 seconds. He's like, oh man, my knee's messed up. I'm like, that's a bad sign, and that's how I felt when that happened back then. And so you kind of have a redux here, and it's different injuries, so we're not going to compare the two, but it really stinks that the first time we tried to do anything. That's one. Number two, I don't know for the Celtics, for all we know, the Celtics are like, was there a program? Was there was the rest prescribed? Did they want him to work out a little bit more earlier to test it and to see? Is it part of the program? Was the program do nothing, show up 2 weeks prior and start playing basketball, and then let's hope you're okay? With a guy who had off-season surgery and we knew needed rest, wouldn't you imagine it'd be a very managed, calculated thing? And if there were any discomfort, that would have come out a little bit sooner than now. Like, are you really doing nothing? And maybe that was the case. Maybe the plan was, go as little as possible, ride the bike, just stay in shape, do nothing. And then, yes, that was fine. And maybe that was the plan. And if it is, it's a tough break. But if it's not, like, manage this situation. That's what I want. I'd feel better if I knew that, like, this was in lockstep with how they wanted to approach the summer. It just turned out this way. But it just sounds like, I don't know, he started trying to play, and then it was bad and it hurt. So we said surgery. I mean, a week prior to camp, that's horrible. I feel like this could have been sussed out a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I'm with you on
if
that.
They knew that if the prescription was to rest and all that stuff, they should have brought him in a few weeks ago, right? Because that's when you would have had a better idea of what he's capable of doing. I don't know why they had to.
Let's give it some tests. Let's see what's happening. I don't know. Yeah,
that's the part. Yeah, because I think rest was built into the summer program for Rob. I mean, that's exactly what they were saying after Game 6 of the NBA Finals. I mean, obviously he wasn't nowhere near 100% throughout the postseason. He's never played that deep into the playoffs. None of these guys have. So I think that was initially part of the plan. But yeah, I'm with you, Jimmy. I think some sort of evaluation a few weeks ago would have helped, right? Maybe that was the case, though. I mean, we'll have to find out, when they speak about this on media day, which of course is going to be a huge talking point, a hot topic going into it. But another thing I want to talk about as well is that for people who are wondering, why didn't they get another veteran to at least shore up this sort of situation, so that if in case it happened, you had that guy to fall back on. I think a lot of the narrative too for the Celtics team going into this year is that they have to sort of progress the next generation of Celtics, if you will, right? Like, who is the younger guys they're gonna have to get their reps in and sort of make that next level, not this year, but maybe next year. So, and maybe they're hoping that one of these guys from training camp will latch on and they can actually develop him. So maybe that's that sort of opportunity that they're looking for early in the season. But none of this is ideal, though. I mean, none of it's ideal. I don't
you have
think
a championship contending team
with the built-in, Rob Williams going to get hurt in the first month of the season. So I just also think that it could have been evaluated a few weeks ago.
But that's where I'm stuck, Josue, and that's what bugs me is, like, I'm not comparing the Kemba injury to Rob's injury, but I am comparing the fact that they lost track of what Kemba was doing. He came back and then got hurt, and then it was hurt, and he had to shut it down, and they were shocked. And at the time, it was this same narrative, such and such happened, and what are you going to do? And he ramped it up, and he started to feel it, and X, Y, and Z. And then after Kemba left, the story was, they were pissed behind the scenes that he didn't do this, and he didn't do that, and he didn't do any of the stuff that they wanted him to do. I don't know if that's one of those situations here. And if it is, that's a problem, because, again, you're looking for multiple things to happen. You're looking for Rob to grow and develop in a lot of different ways, and part of it is, be part of the program, like, do the stuff that you're supposed to do, come in friggin' killer shape. He didn't last year. So again, I know this is like, bashing my own children here, and it kills me to say stuff about Rob, but, like, I don't know if Rob did the right things this offseason. I wish he did. Because it's the betterment of, him and the team. We're bringing Bobby back in, but before I let him snap, crackle, and pop, with his next point, I do want to give a shout out to one of our many sponsors. We have many sponsors. And this one is Athletic Greens. And I do know as a fact, everybody here on the Garden Report uses it, and that is no BS. So I could let you guys talk about it, but first I'll just let you, as I said, is 75 high quality vitamins, all packed into one thing with probiotics, adaptogens, help you start your day off right. It's friendly for your diet. Whatever you're doing, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, keto, no GMOs, no chemicals, nothing artificial, sleep quality, recovery, mental clarity, alertness, all of those things, which AG gives you and gets you started. You've got thousands of 5-star reviews and testimonials from professional athletes, medical professionals, celebrities. So again, you want to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. So to make it easy, what we're going to do here is give you a 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs for your purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/garden. Again, it's athleticgreens.com/garden. And and it's good stuff. And we are going to give a t-shirt. I got to find it. We have them made, and I have all the orders, and I know some people are waiting. There is a bit of a back order. I lost it. Wow. I lost my phenomenal t-shirt. I lost the graphic with the phenomenal t-shirt.
We can describe it.
These bad boys.
I actually have quite a few people. I have quite a few people who have purchased and have sent me their information and their sizes and their addresses to send out t-shirts, and those are going out possibly as early as the end of this week. So you should have those shortly. It is a Garden Report t-shirt. It says phenomenal on it. I don't have a graphic now, but phenomenal. And all you need to do is DM me a receipt and a picture of your receipt, and then give me your address and your shirt size, and we will send that away. Please check it out. It really is worth it. Guys, you have anything good to say about our buddies at AG?
Well, I will say this. The sun's going down a lot sooner now, so you're going to need that vitamin. Unfortunately, daylight savings will be ending in about a month or so, and that little extra vitamin D can step in. Obviously, Athletic Greens has about 50 other vitamins and minerals going on in there too. So definitely worth the money. And I would just tell everyone, give it a shot. It's you only get one body. You only get one chance at keeping yourself healthy. So these guys are doing the work for you. Mind and body. These guys are doing the work for you. All you got to do is just pop it in and go about your day. Can't be any easier than that.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I always tell everyone. It gives you that that pick me up that everyone needs around 3, 4, 5 o'clock or so. And I think that's the biggest difference for me personally. Just that 1 scoop a day, Monday through Fridays. It's been my go-to honestly for the last month and a half or so.
2 months almost. It's been good stuff.
You could mix it with a beer if you want. I mean, what's going to happen? You could.
No, but you know what? We got a really good pro tip.
Theoretically, you could.
A lot of people, a little bit of lemon juice in there as well if you want, and that's really good for your system as well. So check that out. We do want to get back to the Rob Williams stuff because obviously it's a super hot topic today. Talking to the other medical professionals, before we got on the show here, just kind of like, what does it mean, right? What does the arthroscopic procedure mean? I know Bobby mentioned there might be something in there. Yes, that's possible. You could be going in for another trim. There could be a little kind of loose piece or something torn or frayed on the meniscus. Could be another trim situation. That's that. So here's the good news, bad news. And again, anybody I'm speaking to here hasn't seen the pictures. They don't know exactly what's going on, but what I was told is feel confident that for them to give that 4 to 6 week timetable, they know they're not going in and they don't expect to go in and see something big with that scope. The fact that it's a scope just means that you can kind of go in and kind of use their small little tools and kind of snip, whatever you need to do. In many cases, it's just cleaning up scar tissue. And other stuff like that. But they also get a good look at the joint and see what's going on there as well, and see if there's anything else that's kind of troubling.
Yeah, so we could find out more, right?
You could find out more where they see some arthritic stuff or whatever it is, and certain things that might be not as good, but for the most part, it usually ends up being just kind of frigging scar tissue and other things like that they just clean up, and that's usually what's causing you pain. The thing is, and again, going back to the timing, didn't we know that there was already something painful enough in the knee bothering him where a scope could have been done theoretically much, much earlier. And again, the timing of it is just so bizarre to me. He was playing in pain, so something was still bothering him, unless the assumption was that was post-operate, post-op.
He also had the bone bruise, right?
Yeah. So I don't know, but I guess that's what's going on here. So some confidence, the fact that they can give that 4 to 6 week timetable, that they know they're not going in to do a massive repair. But, again,
it's all about how you respond to it, right? I mean, you just don't know. I mean, they had no idea that he was going to need a second. So you mentioned earlier, Lonzo Ball situation. You think they thought he was going to be out as long as he was? So, I mean, geez, knock on wood, you don't have a situation like that, because who knows what's going to happen with Lonzo. But it's like this guy is because of his ability to jump out the building, his blocking. Obviously he's athletic and he can move all over the court. He's capable of feeling. Nobody wants to go near him in the paint. Nobody wants to go. You couldn't even take 3-point shots in anywhere near this guy when he was playing at his best. So if he loses a little bit of that pep, a little bit of that hop, I mean, that's huge for what he gives you, because he's not a stretch shooter. He's not Al Horford. So his value is in what he, with his lower body, basically. It's the long-term fear. I mean, when you talk about tradable assets, well, then Rob went from a possible tradable asset to somebody that they keep. But if he's got this on him now, and there's a lot of questions surrounding his ability to stay on the court, I mean, I know they locked him into a fair deal, but I still think that, best abilities are going to question whether or not they want to risk anything or trade anything for him. So that's the other side of it.
Yeah, and John made a good point. What you lose with these layoffs and setbacks is that improvement, because he did have leaps and bounds to make, particularly on the offensive end of the floor. You wanted to start seeing him initiate more offense this season. You wanted him to be able to get the ball and do something with it in the post, hit some jump shots, do a few things to expand his game. And now it just seems like the goal is to get him on the floor, which is, again, starting from zero, as John said. Doesn't sound like a ton got accomplished this offseason. And would there be more setbacks from here? Could this extend a little longer than we think it would? That's where I start to get a little more concerned on a John Jimmy level in your 8-9 range there. Short term, I think they can get by. Again,
yeah, exactly.
Al Horford, we talk like he's 55, 60. We just saw him play 38 minutes a game in the playoffs, and he actually looks like he's in even better shape.
Again, overreacting to simple things like pictures put out on the Twitter account. Al Horford looks like he's 7 years younger in that picture. It's unreal. He looks lean. He looks amazing. Like, he looks like a guy who's like, I'm playing for my next contract, and I got 3-4 good years left easy in me. So again, that doesn't always translate, because again,
for that, though, I feel like we give him credit for that. I don't think a lot of people
looks
think
awesome.
that way. I think it's more of a cautionary thing that he doesn't play the second nights of back-to-backs. If this team's going to go the distance again, right? It makes sense. It's a deep run, so.
You don't want to be in a position where you're pushing him the extra mile all year, but he's capable of it. And the other thing this gives you a chance to look at is you're probably starting Malcolm Brogdon now, right? Like, I wouldn't throw Grant in there for Rob. So you're going to get a chance to go a little bit smaller, experiment with that, see what Brogdon can do on the wing, see what Brogdon can do playing next to Smart a ton. White and Pritchard can be your bench backcourt, and Grant can defend some fives off the bench. I don't think you're really lacking for depth here. And again, I'm high on Cornet the most.
You're playing a different style, but the fact that Brogdon is another big physical switchable defender, they'll still be able to play their style of defense. They're just not going to have the same level of rim protection.
And I know you've wanted them to get away from double big, John, haven't you? So this might be that chance.
I have, for multiple reasons. One, I want to reduce Al's minutes. It's fine to play the two of them together late in the game if you really want to clamp down on defense and you feel you need the rebounding and the rim protection there. But I'd just be spreading out the Al and Rob minutes, simply because the drop off from those guys to your third big is so bad that you really just don't want to go there. And last year it was Tyson. It's worse now. So, like, that's bad. That's the thing is like really it helps to have them not on the court at the same time and always have one of them anchoring, kind of the middle of the floor for you. So I'd love to see them get away from it. I know that Ime loves it. So I don't know, but yeah, I like I said, I think they're fine with the lineup. Not having Gallinari here is what's going to kill that bench depth because now you're looking at the same ugly ass bench that you had coming in last year, which is Pritchard and D. White and Grant. And that's what cost them a championship, and that's what you're starting the year with. But you're only talking about a couple of weeks, presumably, of regular season. You can float that.
Yeah, and they ultimately did beat the Bucks without Rob for the most part. So we've seen guys step up against a capable team. Even if you want to say Middleton wasn't there, you're still facing Giannis night in, night out. You still had Grant doing great things against Durant in a sweep where Rob was pretty much a non-factor in that series.
But yes, Rob's come back stronger, Bobby. It's going to be a different team. That Bucks team is going to look a lot different with Middleton back in there and
how much of this
taste in their mouth from Game 7 last year.
The other downside to starting Brogdon is I know these guys love their rotations, so they want to try to keep them as much as possible. And if Brogdon's going to be anchoring that sixth man role in that second unit, they want him to start doing that almost right out of the gate, and they want to see him coming off the bench. So I'm not sure what they do here.
Yeah, you could start Grant, but then your backup is Cornette in that case. So it all depends on how much you believe in him. I do.
That's a win for you, Bobby.
I really want to see what he can do. If you find out he's not capable of it, whatever, but they love him. I love him. I think he can really defend the rim and play drop and do some of the things they do in the system there. Offensively, I don't know how much he gives you, but I like him more than Dwight and Aldrich and these names that get thrown around. People are talking about Tristan. Give me a break. These guys who are on the free agent market.
Nobody's talking about Tristan Thompson.
Who said that?
There is a reason why Luke Cornette. There's a reason why Luke Cornette has a job on a finals team from last year, and Dwight Howard and Boogie Cousins do not. And that should tell you all you need to know, that those guys are unemployed for a reason. Okay, for a reason. I know we've heard of the names, but people have to stop grasping at these guys who were good 8 years ago and think that they can somehow come and help you now. It's just not going to happen.
I agree with Josue's sentiment.
That being said,
he's had a couple of good seasons, a couple years ago.
I do think you need a body though. No one's gonna fix anything. It seems like that's what you just need a warm body. And do you want to sign them for the entire year? I don't know.
And they did clear out Caboclo today to have a roster spot available, so that seems to be setting something up. Maybe it's a trade down the line. Maybe it's just having that flexibility.
Bobby, good point. What were you gonna say? You're gonna say something else.
I was gonna say. You're a little thin. Like we said, Gallinari gets hurt. All right, that's not the biggest deal. Rob gets hurt. If this is a longer-term injury than we're expecting here, I think you do drop down the East quite a bit, behind Milwaukee, behind even a team like Miami. I'm not high on Brooklyn advancing beyond the early stages of the season, but Philadelphia I like as well. So
if it's a problem, does the Miles Turner marriage finally happen?
I just don't know how much salary you have to send out at this point. Like, who's your big trade chip for a lot of these guys who are making real money?
Miles Turner would be kind of trash for trash. I'm not calling Derek White that, but if you thought Derek White was a redundancy and I need a big, that's a trade you could possibly make right there.
Yeah. I would do that.
He's that guy. But right now, he's your backup if you're starting Brogdon. So they have a little something to play with there in that backcourt. I think that's the right thinking, John, is that you might be a little more expendable there and may be able to add another position, but you want to see what this team can do before you make any moves, I think, because there's enough there right now. The alarms still aren't sounding yet, in my mind, where you have to go and make an emergency move. You want something to become available that's good too, especially with the tax you're going to be paying on a lot of these moves. Like a minimum signing's $10 million in tax for them right now, so that's another thing you have to think about. If it's Dwight or something like that, I don't know if it's worth it.
Wick gave him the green light, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
I know, but it's got to be the right move.
Bold Wick Big Talk might have spoken like 3 days too early. Okay, on his, I'll spend whatever. And like, oh, man. Knowing full well they weren't going to. And now it's like, well, Wick, actually, as it turns out, we can kind of...
Yeah.
Hey, that goes to show how little they knew of Rob's injury just a few days ago, right? Or of Rob being...
Yeah.
in pain because I'm sure they would have told Wick if something was up.
Man, I wish I was on the Wick show. I would have had a ball with that. Oh my god.
You love the tax talk.
No, but he's
Do
just.
We owe him an apology, Cam?
No.
I don't think we ever expected him to go this deep into the tax.
No, because they didn't for years and years and years and years, and who knows how many opportunities they passed up where, again, there were teams just giving players away because they were trying to desperately get under that tax. We all know what happened last year. Last year, if you were under, you got a gift from all of the other teams that were paying back out. And a bunch of people wanted to make sure that they did that. And it was well known and well publicized that they weren't going to go over last year. They weren't going to do it. And that's that. So if you want to play Mr. Moneybags, and I'll throw it around, well, maybe last year you could have done it, brought even more in here and won a championship. So I don't know. I'm not doing apology cam. That being said,
teams, John, you know that they weren't supposed to go that far.
That doesn't matter. Once you're there, you're there. Now it's what else could have happened? What could we have done differently?
But at the trade deadline, you thought this was a championship team, or that they would go to the finals at least?
At the trade deadline, they were clearly trending in the right direction. That's what kind of what pushed them. That's what pushed them to make the White trade. But there was clearly a directive: improve if you can. There was a directive: improve if you can, but we're not going a nickel over the tax. That was clear.
Right.
So is what it is.
I don't think he was going to change his mind like that last minute. Like it just that was the mindset going into the season.
It's all fine, but just don't play Mr. Moneybags now. It's okay if then you said
the tequila
want to do it last year.
Up about the finals, 2 wins away, but fair point.
You don't take the victory lap now, like we clearly, it's but again,
they had a history and they went above it this time for sure.
They did this time, so yes, credit there, and great. But now I really wish you used that TPE.
But yeah, man, what an awful time. I kind of like the Kemba comparison, John. It's like opening a training camp on Monday and boom, here's the big slap across the face. Because it's 4 to 6 weeks. I'm not disputing that, but it could be longer. I don't think anyone would be surprised. Who knows what they see when they go in and look at it with the surgery here. Who knows what complications happen into the season. So this is scary. For a guy who took what seemed to be a pretty risky surgery to get back quicker, has this history of injuries, got hurt again in the playoffs, and now in this ramp-up period here, deals with some pain and something that urges them to go take a longer look here. This is really scary, especially when this guy is your ceiling raiser. You're a great team without him. You need him to be a championship team. We saw that in the finals. The on-off splits with him were basically what decided the series because he couldn't play enough. And one of the keys to that front court depth this year was getting him. He played 30 minutes a game this year, getting him up to that 35 range, building on this. The offensive stuff you talked about with John. That's where this really kills. You wonder, what he's going to be able to build on what he's already accomplished here. Is this just always going to be 60 games a year? Maybe makes it to the playoffs. And that's going to be the swing factor every single season, whether you're a title contender or not. It's fair to wonder that.
Yeah, there is no Fournier TPE anymore, sadly. You
got a Wancho and a Schroeder.
You got a Wancho. I'll just take Wancho back, Mr. Eurobasket.
He's playing.
He's on the Raptors.
Mr. Eurobasket. I'll take that back. All right, we'll put a bow on it a little bit.
You would laugh so hard that I bet it.
I would love Wancho. I would take Wancho. We want to tell you again.
Herman Gomez.
Herman. I loved Herman. We got to tell you about another sponsor. One of our faithful sponsors, been around for a while, sticking with us, waiting till the season begins. And we'll need it. We'll need it we'll need it more than ever now. But here we are. It's calm. It's Calm. We know, for those who don't know about it, Calm, again, is one of our favorite sponsors, been with us throughout the season. #1 health and wellness app, give you the tools that improve the way that you feel. We know that trying something new can be intimidating. Meditation, you hear about it, you're like, I don't know. But whether, you're doing this in the morning, most people do it at night. it can change your entire outlook and change your day. Jimmy is an avid Calm user. I know that. Over 100 million people around the world use it to take care of their minds. Helps you stress less, sleep more, live a happier, healthier life. And we're talking about music, nature sounds, sleep stories, all sorts of different things to kind of get you to bed, get your mind right, get all the sleep you need so you can wake up, then pop your athletic greens, and you are off and run. This is it. We've got you taken care of before you go to bed and when you wake up in the morning. This is all you need. Calm before bed. You wake up, scoop of athletic greens, and you're off and running. We are here to
help us help you.
Help us help you to get the best version of you.
So then you get to wear your phenomenal shirt all day.
Calm.com/garden. Okay, you will get a premium subscription, 40% off. This is actually a really good money saver, and you can only get it with our deal. So you have to go. You have to go calm.com/garden to get your premium subscription. It is worth it. It's actually remarkably affordable. It's a really, really good setup. We all have it, and we all use it.
New world.
And there it is. Phenomenal T-shirt. This is what you get.
Phenomenal.
I got so excited. He covered the whole damn screen. Jeez.
Hey, can I get one too, John? Damn.
That's great.
Yep.
What do I got to do?
Phenomenal T-shirt. Please DM me your address and your size, and yes, we will all get them. We will all wear them when they're ready to print. We were just making sure we had enough orders, and we do. So we are getting them printed up and sending.
You got my dozen going to Brockton, right?
Cool. Sending them out to you guys. Yep. So please check this out. The Calm thing is great. It's really worth it. It's a great sponsor of ours, and they've been around a long time, and we want them to stick around with us throughout the season.
Sleep stories.
In order to do that, we need you guys to support our sponsors. Please do that. It keeps us in business, keeps the content coming, allows us to be able to do what we do. So we really do appreciate it, those of you that do. And if you haven't, please give it a try, or at least just check out the website at least and take a peek for us and tell me if you like what you see. So yeah, check that out. Calm.com/garden. Receive 40% off premium subscription, guys. I don't know where we go from here. I had other stuff we talk about, but I think we'll hold off. We'll probably do a second show later on this week. But final thoughts on the whole Rob stuff here and just kind of the outlook on the Celtics, where, you have that great offseason. You get Brogdon, you get Gallinari. Gallinari's done. The Rob news really takes a lot of air out of the balloon. It doesn't mean that the season is over, but they're less of
It's not over.
No, of course not. But you had real reason to feel good about a lot of things that were going into the season, and this definitely takes a little bit of wind out of the sails.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing. It's not like the sky's falling for Celtics fans, but because it's Rob, because he's so important, because he has this injury history, you have to be concerned. I mean, I think everyone's level for most Celtics fans should be at least a 5 and up. Just going into the season is just not what you wanted to see. And I think, I'm hoping we'll get some interesting quotes. I'm sure we will from Monday's media day. We'll get some our next development, I guess, from the team and from Ime and from Brad. We'll see what they say. But the sky's not falling. But let's just see what happens, how this team responds in his absence, and of course, all eyes will be on Rob the moment he hits the court again, whether it's in the beginning of December or the tail end.
I don't know. Whatever it is, I don't believe it though.
You don't believe what? He's going to come back?
Yeah. Whatever you hear.
Frame.
No, just whatever you hear, because
I don't believe anything.
Whatever you hear from them, I'm not going to believe it, and it's fine. They're not supposed to be gloom and doom, and it might not be a gloom and doom scenario, but it's just
we'll respond to it anyways. It'll be fun.
It's a continued question mark that we expect that is just going to kind of linger over the team for a long time, and that's the worst thing. It's like the fear that it's going to come back now, just is so real. It's just like the sword of Damocles just dangling over your head, like impending doom at all times. Can you make it to game 78, 77, 72, first round of the playoffs, and then Rob needs a little cleanup, 4 to 6 weeks. He might be back for game 4 of the finals. And you're like, okay, here we go.
And then your other big addition is an injury-prone guy in Malcolm Brogdon. Not to, throw another question mark or, horrible scenario.
No, my mind went there, Bobby.
But when's the last time he played over 65? So you're thin right now. You really
And he's gone.
He's the worst.
Deuces,
I did that to him. Oh,
No.
Did you? Oh, okay.
I think he switched. His computer was the reason that he was having audio issues. He switched to iPad because you could tell he was kind of looking in the wrong direction. And then I think the iPad wasn't charged, and he was just vaporized.
Yeah,
hey guys, well, Wi-Fi shaming isn't cool.
He's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Sweat, you can tell us a thing or two about that.
And
Apparently,
like
apparently
Kaiser
my-
Do a
Soze.
fake commercial. Just like a
video's
PSA about like Wi-Fi. All right, we'll talk about it.
I guess I'll give a spiel. Anyone watching this show, don't let anybody tell you that this isn't a big. Don't put on the green goggles. Don't because you sound silly. Don't let anyone tell you that this is nothing and that Rob's gonna be
The
back.
Celtics industrial complex is going to tell you everything's okay.
Exactly. They're gonna pat you on the head and send you on your way.
I don't mean it like that. I mean
tell
an
you everything's gonna be
explanation. Like explain yourself. Like, come on.
No. I know what Jimmy's saying.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Because-
saying to you, John. Like I don't
I
think
know.
Monday they're gonna like solve.
But what Jimmy's saying is that the wagons are circling right now to tell everybody it's not a big deal and he'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Media day's coming.
There's plenty of
Everyone's
reason.
gonna-
What Jimmy's saying is there's plenty of reason to be concerned.
Exactly. That's what it is. Plenty of reason to be concerned just with Rob. But John mentioned it. I mean, you just lost Gallinari for the year. Now the Rob news. This is a bad start. This is a bad omen, folks. I don't want to look too much into this, but this is why it's so damn hard to win a championship. So many things have to go your way, and so many things have to go the wrong way for other teams. And right now, the Celtics are one of those other teams where things are going the wrong way. So there needs to be a 180 on the direction of where the health of these guys are going. I'm very interested to see how they start this season, because obviously we all had high hopes for them going in. With the moves they made, it was clear that on the same page and knowing that to win a championship. So health is really things that could really get in the way of these starting to. So I'm concerned. I'm not trying to be what do you call it? Chicken, the sky is falling sort of thing, but is it Chicken Little? I'm not trying to be that person, but at the same time,
like chicken.
It's hard to just be. It's hard to just. Dr. Jim would say,
Facts.
I don't know what to say in this case. He would say he would just say, be cautious. Be cautious of what's going on.
Yeah. And no pressure, by the way, Celtics, but you're literally the only team in town with any chance of winning. So, our hopes lie entirely with you. Okay? It is right now watching the Patriots, just blah, and again, people will watch because it's the Patriots. But no. I mean, they're unbelievably boring, and their ceiling is capped, and maybe they can squeak into the playoffs, but probably not. And getting stuck in the middle of the pack is the worst place you can be with a quarterback you're not sure whether or not. Blah 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 blah. Bruins are all banged up, and they've got some issues there, and the Red Sox are in last freaking place. Everyone is dying, and the Revs crap the bed this year too for all of you soccer fans. So what do we got? The Celtics. This is it. All of our hopes are tied to the Celtics right now. So
I was at Fenway on Saturday. Oh,
yeah.
Were you covering for BSJ?
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was an ugly showing, and they drive me crazy. But we'll save that for the Red Sox stream.
No,
I can't watch the Sox. Yeah. I can barely watch the Pats, man. I'll be honest. It puts me to sleep.
It's tough.
I think it tend to.
It's tough.
And what was
you flip off the game to red zone, and then you forget to go back, and you're like, "Oh, crap!" I should probably go back and check.
This is what a fun ball game feels like.
And what was the most fun thing about the Celtics, John? Watching them.
I mean, me. Rob's the guy. Rob's the guy you have your eyes on. I mean, obviously the Jays are great and the best players on the team and two of the best players in the league. But Rob's that wow factor guy. I mean, he brings a lot of the with the dunks and the blocks and this and that. And again, also just the overall level of play, when they play the way they do, it's really fun to watch when they were, when that defense looks like there's 7 guys out there and Rob's just swatting away stuff and, they're just going the other way. They just look great. You want to try to relive that 30-game stretch there right before Rob got injured, from trade deadline on or just before it, which was just unbelievable. And, you felt that you could do that and then maybe even build upon it with your additions. And again, everything is just a start and a stop and a start and a stop. I hate this whole we would have won the finals with Kendrick Perkins sort of stuff. Like, it stinks. You just want your guys to be on the floor and play the games,
Yep, and I'm not pushing this to a 10. I'm not even pushing this to an 8 or a 9. I think they'll sustain. I think he'll get back on the floor at some point. This is the time where you want it to happen, too, if this is going to be the only interruption this year in the preseason. So I'm not panicking yet. I don't think there needs to be an emergency signing yet. I'm confident in Horford. I'm confident in Grant. I'm confident in Cornette or Kabengele. I think they both showed some things last year or in the summer league. So just see what you have.
Oh, God.
Play a different style early on.
But you know what?
Don't let people tell you not to reasoning
like
is.
they're going to take a spot.
I'm not saying don't be concerned. There's major long-term concerns with Rob.
Save that shit for dome theory, okay? That's not going to fly here.
In the short term?
That's not going to fly here.
I'm interested to see what they have.
Kevin, who?
Don't ever say that name again on this show.
We don't do that here.
Yeah, don't do that, Bobby. You know better.
I think they'll be okay in these early weeks.
I do too. It's not that. I agree. They're fine. You can plug a hole for 2 weeks if that's all it is. It's the long-term stuff that's the big issue.
Yeah, so we agree.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I'm not going to say
think
it's because of those guys.
Either.
Yeah.
You just lost two guys. You just lost two of your. You just lost 2 guys, Gallinari and Rob, that were going to be in your rotation like regularly.
Yeah,
you just are going to be okay.
This Cornette's name was said more tonight than was said in the last year and a half by the entire planet. Okay, like,
yeah, right.
We just.
That's a problem.
You know what it is? You know what?
He had a really good season in Maine.
That highlight of him on Twitter.
Stevens like the tweet.
That's.
Listen, the way
everyone loves Luke Cornette. We're just not talking about him playing 20-25 minutes in place of the one of the top 50-60 players in the world and an all defensive player.
That's on Grant. That's on Grant. So Grant's the burden on Grant right now is massive to defend fives, to hit those threes again. He's going to be taking on a heavy role again, and if he wants that next big contract, if he can meet that mark, I think he'll have it. So
yeah.
Grant's really the guy taking on that
He won't be signing an
responsibility.
extension now. Grant won't be signing that extension. Yeah, he's going to hold out now. He's going to even cash.
I don't know.
Yeah, bet on himself.
That's another story, but for another time. The Grant extension that's close, but also they haven't talked in months. That was a weird story. That was a weird report.
Yeah.
they're confident they'll get something done, but they haven't had a single conversation in 3 months.
It's like, so they're close to a deal.
I'd like to see Grant in the negotiating room.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap, but we are glad you guys. We're glad you guys hung out with us again. Quick shout out to our sponsors. Please support our sponsors, or at least give it a shot here. Poke onto the website, see if you like what you see. athleticgreens.com/garden. 75 vitamins and supplements all in one little scoop. Great way to start your day. Helps with your immune system, your mental clarity, all sorts of things. Makes you feel great. We all use it at the Garden Report. Go check it out. And of course, at night, calm.com/garden, 40% off premium subscription, #1 health and wellness app. Terrific stuff there. And honestly, it really is a great way to end your day and a great way to start your day. So please check out and support our sponsors. And if you do, bing, bing, bing. Phenomenal t-shirt. Okay.
We haven't said phenomenal much this summer.
No, we have
Hasn't been a lot of phenomenal things happening.
No, we haven't been able to.
No.
Yeah,
we have not. None of us are phenomenal. Jimmy and I are both sick. Joe Sway's coming off of something. We all had to get up off the mat for the emergency garden report here.
Yes.
Get ready.
It was one of those.
What is happening right now?
It's a little calm right here. This is a little calm. Here you go.
Who was that?
You didn't put the phone to the. We didn't know what was going on.
A little calm. That's all, man.
Stop it!
Just a little.
I thought there was like a flood.
No, it called.
I just knew it wasn't me.
Light rain.
Calm's not to be listened through a stream. Just to be sure.
That is not.
Get that
That is not the
on your
proper
surround
use of
sound
calm.
speakers.
It just doesn't sound the same, you know.
There's actually a lot of new there's a lot of new sleep stories on Calm. I've noticed that they've put a ton more up, so you don't have to listen to the same ones. You're always getting a new story.
Yeah,
Something to think about.
Maybe
that's one of those premium features.
So maybe that's something we'll focus on for our next show. We will talk about the top 100 list ESPN has thrown out there. Seven Celtics are on it, including Mr. Grant Williams clocking in at 99. And of course, the entire starting five and Malcolm Brogdon, 7 players in there. We'll talk about some of those rankings, and maybe we will all decide we're going to need to come up with something that we think is phenomenal around the team right now. Okay. So
that's our homework.
We'll tilt it to the positive. Everyone's homework assignment. Come up with something phenomenal, guys. Okay. Anyway,
all right, we'll do.
Yeah,
that's fun. That's a fun one. That's a fun assignment. Fun, Professor Zanis. Assignment.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right.
Thanks guys for joining the Emergency Garden Report. For a little bit of Rob Panic. It was fun hanging out with you guys, seeing some familiar names in the chat. We really look forward to daily shows and a full season of this, which is just around the corner. Should be a lot of fun. Media Day next week. We'll have a lot of stuff going on there. So we'll make sure to bring you all the coverage. Make sure you subscribe to all of our properties here, our YouTube channels, our websites. Read Bobby Manning on CLNSmedia.com, Josue Pavone on Heavy.com. Jimmy, just hit him up on Twitter. He'll get back to you.
Chilling.
Right?
Yeah, I'll hop on and off Twitter. Yeah. I was pretty quiet over the summer on Twitter. I'll be firing it back up now.
Me too. I have like 10 tweets. I did nothing over the summer. A little Patriots ranting recently, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see.
I'll be happy to be
this
done
week,
with it.
John.
More.
I'll be happy to be done with it. Yeah. Be happy to move
Take
on to
every
basketball.
What do we think? Home underdogs this week against the Rams.
Oh, for this week?
They need one of those rainstorms from a couple of years ago.
Running quarterbacks are tough for these Pats guys. So I think
I don't know.
Fantasy guy.
I'm not bullish on anything, regarding what's going on with the team right now. But again, would it shock me if they somehow figured it out and started playing a lot better? Not shock, but I mean, I just think their ceiling is. It's just.
Right
I just think.
I'd be shocked.
I just think the type of team they have to pitch a perfect game almost every day. I compare like Mac to a pitcher with like an 86 mile an hour fastball. Like he's got to hit all his spots, Yeah.
That's
but that's their whole offense. No big play guys, no chunk plays. What did the Patriots used to do to teams? Okay, I dare you to go. They bend but don't break. I dare you to nickel and dime me up and down the field 5 times and score 5 touchdowns because we're going to do it. I'm scoring 30. Can you guys do it 5 yards at a time, 4 yards at a time? I dare you to. And they couldn't. That's how the Patriots have to move the ball. Just dink, 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 dink. There's no impact, no explosive plays. It's hard. You have to be perfect. You turn it over 1 or 2 times, you're in trouble.
And the defense is
gotta get rid of the turnovers.
Bonuses on the defense now because they're up more than 21 points. There's a good chance that Pats are going to lose that damn game at this point. So the defense has to really be on their game every Sunday too now. So
Jimmy, I want you on the next post game show.
Oh yeah,
really makes my head spin. What happened to Jonas Smith too?
Jimmy just
Sunday
up right there. He loved that.
Maybe we'll see.
Man, look, you're invited, bro. Congrats.
You're invited.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Negative on the Pats right now, man. Just so you know. Mr. Negative.
I know. I need
Join
it.
the show.
I don't want to talk with sunny people.
Jimmy's
I want people who I want raw emotion. But yeah,
you just made his day. He's pumped.
Yeah. All right, we're done, guys. Thanks again for hanging out. We will see you. We're gonna do one again later in the week. It's Tuesday now. Maybe Thursday we'll try to jump in again and do another garden report, and then we will be up and running with more frequent ones once the season gets started with Media Day on Monday. So a ton more stuff coming. Get ready. Basketball is upon us. For Jimmy Toscano, Bobby Manning, Joe Josue Pavone. I'm John Zanis. We're going to rest. We're going to get our rest, and hopefully we're all a little bit better come Thursday. And we've got some good news and some good stuff